There is an acceptable number of lies necessary for dungeon diving. Lies like you trust your best mate's judgment. Lies like you are entirely comfortable leading a team that has seen you dacked at school assembly. Lies like it's easy to have your best mate and his sister, who you were probably kind of dating, in the same dungeon team. Lies like you'll have enough money for rent this week. Lies like this won't hurt a bit. Another red slime lurched at Keat. The gelatinous red cube the size of a minecart gathered its mass backwards and then slung itself forward. Keat whipped up Skelly's crossbow and emptied mana blasts into it. The slime split into two smaller cubes, which scuttered off into the dark of the Broken Hill dungeon. Narrow mine shafts and open excavation areas formed the Broken Hill 9-pillar dungeon. Glowing opals and veins of silver ran down the walls along with occasional burning lanterns. The dim lighting left plenty of room for ambushes. The smell of burnt hair filled the cavern. Nugget battered free of another red slime. Nugget's outrageous constitution healing his burns, and even regrowing his ginger red hair at a remarkable rate. Slimes swarmed through the cavern. Slimes that burned, slimes that froze, and slimes that just plain old slimed. Ugh. Getting slimed was bad enough. "New slime incoming, mates!" Backpacker yelled, strumming out the tune of Goanna's Solid Rock. You gain the buff standing on solid rock. +3 to constitution and agility when defending a set position. Buff deactivates if you retreat. A thick, dark black slime spread itself across the cave floor. It smelled of salt and a pungent odour Keat couldn't quite place, somehow familiar. The dark slime was the biggest one yet, the size of a mallee bull. They'd faced red fire slimes, light blue ice slimes, and murky blue water slimes. What kind of horror was a black slime? Necromancy, death magic. What weaknesses would it have? The slime shot tentacles forward, blinding fast, and latched onto both of Backpacker's arms. Goops of it hit his face, getting in his mouth and eyes. "Oh, it burns! What is this stuff? It's too salty, kind of bitter," Backpacker yelled out. Keat fired mana bolts into the thick, dark mess of slime. The shots only made the slime jiggle. "No, actually, it's kind of umami, quite strong, kind of malty," Backpacker said, trying to determine the creature's weakness. "Wait!" Keat cast Identify. Vegemite slime. Level 7. HP 340/400. Abilities. It'll grow on you. The longer you're exposed to Vegemite slime, the greater the chance of surrendering to it. Spread thin. The more spread out it is, the more palatable this slime is to the touch. Vegemite, the original Australian spread, made in Melbourne in 1922. A favourite of Australian travellers, and a mystery to everyone else. A jar of it must have been left in the mine and absorbed by one of the slimes. "Hang on, Backpacker!" Keat yelled, blasting another nearby red slime into bits. "Oi, you lot! What would Vegemite be weak to?" "Butter!" Nugget called out. "Toast?" Abby said. "Never mind, I've got this," Mel yelled, charging in. "Hey, Mel, wait! Fists aren't the best," Keat started. Mel didn't listen. She battered at the slime with mana-infused fists. The slime jiggled. The damage minimal. Every blow, Mel had to dart in and withdraw before the slime could engulf her. She backflipped to Keat and set her back against his. "We aren't counting this as our first date," Mel said. Of course they weren't. They wouldn't take Nugget on their first date. "Incoming nugget of wisdom!" Nugget leapt through the air, over the group, and brought a fist to smash into the Vegemite slime. "No! Nugget, it'll engulf you," Keat said. Nugget's fist connected, and a shockwave pulsed through the slime. The slime shuddered and exploded into thick globules of Vegemite, which absolutely coated Nugget and the Backpacker. "Oh, I get it now. It's like Marmite," Backpacker said. "No, it's completely different," Nugget said. "Marmite, what a joke." Abby threw heels at Backpacker. His burnt hands returned to their natural pale white that was so vulnerable to the Aussie sun. "How'd you do that, Nugget?" Keat asked. The rest of the slimes were resistant to bludgeoning and to piercing damage. Heck, even Mel's infused strikes barely scratched it. Nugget shook out his hand. "Vegemite's made from brewer's yeast, Keat. Yeast, as in beer? My class has a bang-up understanding of all things pub-related, including the weak points of Vegemite slime, apparently. It showed me a red blinking critical hit area. Keith chuckled. Nugget's Order of the Reveler, Paladin class, never failed to surprise him. Abby's heel finished on Backpacker's hands. Backpacker gave her a wink. Abby rolled her eyes. Easy there, mate. Reel in your min-maxed charisma. Backpacker grinned wider, then shoved his hands back into the Vegemite slime. Abby put her hands on her hips. What are you doing? I just healed those. Backpacker took a big helping of Vegemite slime and smeared it onto the back of his neck and ears. He gave the team a thumbs up. What? I know how Australia works now, mates. I acquired much wisdom in my travels before I met you. Keith retreated from the enthusiastic Englishman by looking at his post-combat notifications. Congratulations! You gained 400 XP. For defeating Vegemite Slime, the Gap Year 6 gains the skill Spread Thin when members of your party are down in combat, plus 5% increase to HP regeneration for remaining party members. Class, Witch Hunter, level 7, 498 over 3200 to next level. Abilities, Animal Companion, 3 over 4, Loyal Steed, Tracker. You call that a knife? Does it pass the pub test? Locked, Location, Location, Location. Strength, 15, Agility, 18, Constitution, 18, Intelligence, 21, Wisdom, 20, Charisma, 14, Luck, 1. HP, 210, 3.3 sec. Mana, 210. Skills, Stealth, Shoddy level 3, plus 3% to stealth checks. Backstab, Shoddy level 3, times 2.3 multiplier to attack damage on unsuspecting foe. Tremor Sense, Shoddy level 2, 2% chance to detect enemies early. Small to medium blades, Tradie level 4. War Club, Tradie level 4. Crossbow, Sturdy level 1. Identify, Dodgy level 3. Titles, Cane Toad Goblin's Bane. Mayor of Broken Hill. Sigil of Sectorum's Champion, Champion 5. Sigil, Highwayman's Pass. Tenant score, plus 151. 15% reduction on rental payments. Keith had hit level 7 in the aftermath of the Battle for Broken Hill. He'd added 1 point into every stat but luck to try to be more well-rounded. He'd found an option to rearrange his stat block in the menu. He'd also split titles from skills to make it more streamlined and removed reputation from his shortened summary. He'd set the notifications to automatically allocate the share of XP between him, Mongrel, Trev, Noodles and his barbecue fork without cluttering his feed. Now it just told him what he earned, not the others. The barbecue fork had levelled after the Battle for Broken Hill as well, and he'd started displaying the weapon proficiencies in the skills section to keep track. Location, Location, Location was still locked and showed no signs of becoming unlocked anytime soon. Keith's eyes drifted over to the empty slot in the Gap Year 6 party and grimaced. Abby put a hand on his shoulder, pulling him out of the status screen. Abby healed the damage from the fire slimes. We could use some long-range damage dealing, a nice mage or sorcerer type. Keith nodded. Their group was designed to get to Broken Hill, not battle through slimes. Mel and Nugget had been ineffective at dealing damage, apart from the last Vegemite slime. They couldn't move on through the dungeon levels until they cleared them, so they couldn't just cheat through with Nugget's let's all have a good time aura. Abby's healing was excellent, but she had yet to pick up any damage-dealing abilities. Backpacker's buffs helped, but again did minimal damage. Keith could do some damage with the crossbow, but the barbecue fork had been ineffective against the slimes. The barbecue fork vibrated and poked him in the leg, sensing Keith's thoughts. Keith patted it. The thing had been with him through thick and thin. Mongrel yapped at his side, licking Vegemite off his lips. The slimes were immune to Mongrel's bites, and he had been loath to bring Noodles into the dungeon. One hit from a tough enemy would be the end of Noodles. Noodles was damn strong for his 2-minute buff, but the rest of the time he was an ordinary sausage dog. Strike a light, Keith. Have a squizzo at this, Nugget said from the side of the cavern. The acid from the slimes had burnt away the dirt covering one of the walls. The wall of the mine shaft had a drawing carved into it. Basic paints highlighted sections of the carving, which showed a circular planet with 4 moons. Twisting blue tendrils extended from the planet to the 4th moon. Carved beneath it was 3 letters, DDC. What was DDC? Mel pinched his butt, pulling his attention away. She nudged his shoulder with hers and jerked her head towards the back of the cave. With a boom, doors at the back of the cave swung open. A rattling mine cage lowered into place. leading down to the dark of level 2.